Welcome back, Nap Trappers. Hi, Beck.
Hey, Sally. Hey, Nap Trappers. Nice to be here today.
Back in your ears, listeners will know redistribution of calories is a huge part of the way that we work. We want to ensure that we're not doing any sleep work through genuine hunger. We want to bring back great breastfeeds, big bottle feeds, create that balance between milk and solids. And today we're going to talk about why breakfast for us is the last meal that we would introduce for a baby and why we actually withhold it sometimes in a nice way for a lot of babies whilst we're doing sleep work. And we just did this. We're doing Camp Snooze together at the moment, and I think 4 out of 6 babies we said at the beginning, no breakfast, not yet. And we've just been able to reintroduce it over the last week. So let's talk about it, Beck.
Why I suddenly feel nervous for some reason. Like I talk about this day in, day out now.
This is one of your favourite topics.
It is. It really is. It's really important too because we do deal with this on a daily basis, and it can often feel hard to sort of say to a family, hey, I know they love their brekkie and so forth, and that they love their toast and avocado and eggs and all the things. But what we want to do is we want to pull breakfast out of the equation so that we can easily redistribute calories. Now, what we mean by that is typically a family has come to us and they've got multiple feeds overnight. They might have 2-3 feeds over the course of the night, and we're looking to move those calories out of the night and pop them into the day. So we're looking to increase feeds through the day. And what typically happens for babies that have multiple feeds overnight is that they become really picky and choosy with what they have through the day because they're tanking up overnight. And it just means that at 7 o'clock, they're having like a bit of a dicky feed then. They're probably having a few dicky feeds over the course of the day. They're kind of just muddling through the day just to get to the night where they will tank back up again. So a bit of reverse cycling, if you will. And so what we would like to do is to make sure that when we pop our babies that we're looking after on, like, say, a 7-month-old and a 4 feed schedule through the day, we're looking to really bump these feeds up. So instead of being dicky feeds where they're on, they're off, they're super distracted, they might be 2 or 3 hourly, we're putting them onto 4 hourly feeds through the course of the day. So both boobs at each feed, or 180 to 240 mils per bottle. If we've got some solids in the mix and they're a little bit haphazard with their timings, then that can interfere with appetite for the following milk feed. And so what we try and encourage families to think about is creating gaps, like creating time between feeds so that appetite is created. And if at 7 o'clock your feed has been impacted because there's been a few feeds over the course of the night, if there's breakfast in the mix, quite often baby will load up on a bit of brekkie because they're less distracted with the food. They're really interested in it. They are still hungry because they've only had a small feed. And then all of a sudden, the interest and the appetite for the next feed has been impacted. So at 11 o'clock, that milk feed is still a little bit ho-hum. And instead of offering breakfast, what we try and encourage families to think about is the main meal of the day being lunchtime, so that we can focus our attention on getting 2 milk feeds in through the course of the day. So in the first half of the day, so we want a 7 a.m. milk feed to be a really good one. And then if we hold off breakfast, and even though it might be a little bit tricky to use the art of distraction, like your baby might be sort of like really looking for a feed a little bit earlier, they're really hopeful that you're going to succumb to the pressure of, come on, let's just get this feed underway. Like if we hold steady, we create that 4-hour gap, which means then that your breasts are going to be a little fuller, they're going to be more ready to offer a full feed. Plus, they're also a baby is ready to take a full feed in terms of 2 breasts or a full milk bottle. So we're creating that appetite to want to feed really well.
It's because we look at feeds across the whole 24 hours. It's not just about, okay, 4 milk feeds during the day and 3 meals of solids. That makes perfect sense. We have to look at the night, because the night directly impacts 7 a.m., but it also carries on for a lot of babies for the rest of the day. And when we are wanting to make change, we need to make sure that a baby has a full tummy in sort of all the right times and places, and it's a temporary strategy. So even for the babies that we're currently working with, all of them have now had breakfast brought back into the mix because they have naturally started to come back to the breast. Some babies were even refusing the breast at 7 a.m. completely that have come back to the breast, which is amazing. Yeah. So we watch the data play out. We watch these feeds come back in. Babies start taking bigger bottles, bigger breastfeeds. It's all feeling so much better. And then babies start to organically drop overnight feeds, or they become later and into the early hours of the morning, in which case we're whittling down time at the breast or reducing the volume in the bottle. And then what we take from the night, we start to give back to the day. So it's constantly, it's always moving forward. We're not, it's not just a blanket rule of like, right, no more breakfast until X date. We're watching to see what's happening. It's always part of the strategy and the plan. And once you see a baby take these better feeds, you realize it makes sense. It can sometimes just feel, when you first read the plan, of like, oh, you know, we love solids. My baby loves solids. Or they're really fussy with milk. So I've been counteracting that with more solids because they love it, which totally it's a balancing act. Yeah. You may even just like to give toast crusts. That's been something that we'll often give a baby that might be a bit cranky because they really do love solids, or they've got an older sibling. It's like, why does the 4-year-old get breakfast and I'm So something to munch on that's not nutritive dense, that's not going to take away. They just don't know that come 11 a.m. in this example, oh my goodness, this is going to be the best milk feed of my life. And then the other thing that's worth considering is that we focus primarily on lunch and dinner to fill out the second half of the day, because those calories then have greater impact overnight. Whereas if we just go so hard at breakfast and then say, okay, but almost no lunch and we'll withhold dinner, the breakfast is not going to help us at 3 a.m.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
So we pull back on that. We give calories to the parts of the day as part of the plan. And then when the time is right, breakfast is back in.
So, usually what we see is that if we take breakfast out, we start to see a huge improvement in that 11 o'clock milk feed immediately. We always see a big improvement. That feed is a big one, both boobs, big bottle, that's going in. Then we move into lunchtime, which is usually half an hour after that, and we can really go to town on lunch because we've got a really big gap until 3 p.m. for our babies to enjoy their solids and their digestive system to work its magic. And then they have their milk feed at 3 o'clock. So we create that appetite again for a really big milk feed. And then, so slowly we're redistributing the calories. We're getting more calories in through the day at the more appropriate timings, and then a really little dinner, usually a small dinner, so that we're really maximizing opportunity for baby to have the most amazing breastfeed or bottle feed before bed. And so again, optimizing calories in through the day so that then we can either watch our little ones take much longer stretches organically without needing a feed, or if needed to, we can resettle wakings that we know are an inability to settle rather than a genuine hunger-related waking. And it just clears the doubt from our mind when we're trying to resettle overnight. So even though it feels like, well, why are you working on breakfast why are you taking breakfast out when you're trying to work on the nights? It is a full circle kind of, it has full circle impact. And once they're sleeping longer overnight, then they're doing these bigger stretches, and then the feeds become less and less. They become smaller and smaller. and then all of a sudden you're kind of down to like a negligible amount of milk overnight. And that's usually the time that we say you're almost at the finish line with that feed overnight. Let's put solids back into the mix at breakfast so that then we can confidently resettle the waking overnight, because that little feed that you're having, say at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, might be 50 or 60 mils of the bottle, or it could be 1 or 2 minutes on the breast. That is then redistributed in with a nice good breakfast. So, your rice cereal and fruit, or, toast and eggs, whatever you guys decide.
Some yogurt. Yeah.
Yeah. It's switched out from, instead of having the milk feed, you pop the solids into the mix, and that gives you that confidence boost that actually you haven't taken calories out. You've switched them into the day. You've redistributed them into the day. And that's how we feel confident about moving forward with these types of things.
Absolutely. I think one of the a common experience as well, and we were coaching someone through this morning, is that baby drops overnight feeds. Boobs are engorged. They don't know what's just happened. Baby takes a huge feed at 7 a.m. and then we give the green light to say, okay, great, now add in breakfast, and baby's not even that interested in breakfast, even though we've been holding off for the last week. And that's because, and this will also redistribute and recalibrate, is because that was just the biggest 7 a.m. milk feed of your baby's life. They don't necessarily then feel like backing it up with smashed avo 30 minutes later. You just keep offering. There's no pressure. We're not force feeding. We're just anchoring in these times, these rituals, so that as supply and demand start to iron out, as baby picks up on the new patterns of, oh, hang on, I do get something in the high chair at this time, there's just always opportunity. And that's what we're wanting to create, and signaling to the brain as well of like, oh, yeah, I can get hungry now, or I can have a snack now. I don't need to be super grizzly. Something's about to come. And it's creating these rituals throughout the day that but yes, it's one of those things that, we've just brought it back in, and baby doesn't even want it so much.
Into it. Right.
Yeah. But if we look at the feed before, that was the best breastfeed of this baby's life.
I think it just also highlights rhythm and routine, and how you can have a calmer, more relaxed child throughout the day when everything is happening roughly around the same time, so that the internal clock wires into feeds and meal times and naps, and so it releases hormones and expectations. So
that's right,
your baby isn't needing to ask for anything. It's always happening. Like they are just, they're in the swing. They just know, they've got trust in the idea that, breakfast is coming, my milk's coming, my nap's coming, everything's being taken care of. And so that's how you can have like such a relaxed, well, I'm sure having babies is not a relaxing time by any stretch, but
more relaxing than perhaps it was.
Yeah, that's right. And it's rhythm to the day. It's having everyone know what the expectation is.
Liberating for you as a parent? Like for me, just knowing, rather than having to make it up constantly, particularly if it's your first baby, or it's very easier when you get to childcare, because you can just sort of emulate those timings a little bit at home of like, oh, they do morning tea at 9:30, they do afternoon snack, they do late snack. But when you're introducing solids, there's already so much information. I just find having a schedule that makes sense, whether it's sleep, milk, solids, all of the above, I just like to know how to move throughout my day, but also how and when to have things packed. So if we're having lunch out, or we're going to time it for after baby swimming lessons, I know to have the squeezy pouch loaded up. It gives me, I don't know, it just takes the weight off my shoulders of I have to figure out something else or fill in time. I just do my milk feed and then we hop in the high chair.
Yeah, that's right. Like it's taking the guesswork out, and like that's why I like the idea of Steve Jobs and the way that he used to wear black as his uniform. Like black turtleneck, black pants. I think that was just his uniform. Even on weekends, he didn't wear anything different. And it was like one less decision to be made. And I love the idea of that. And I actually feel like that's how routines can be for parents, because as parents, we have to make a million different decisions all through the day anyway. But if you're not having to think so much about when to offer milk and when to offer feed and when to go down for the nap, like it simplifies your life, I feel. I don't know. It just gives a lot more clarity, and I'm all for that. All for it.
Yeah,
and black
also
uniforms too. So
we can bring that in, Beck. We can have a nap trapped uniform if you just want to wear a black turtleneck from here on out. I won't question you. We'll bring out matching onesies for our babies, our listeners.
Let's do that. Oh my God,
that'd be very chic, very cute. I also think it can feel like it doesn't make sense when you read it. Like, why would we withhold food? Why would we? It can feel like that, and we're not. There is, as always, there is just so much method to this madness. And once you watch your baby take a great bottle feed and sleep a 7-hour stretch organically, or the 7 a.m. breastfeed comes back and you were thinking, I think this baby's just going to self-wean at 9 months. There are so many scenarios that, no, we actually prioritize milk. And this is part of the process. And it all manifests in your overnight sleep goals as well.
That's true. Yeah, I love that term, the method to the madness. Like, there really is. And it makes sense. Like, you just have to, if you're unsure of why we would recommend something, you just have to ask, and we'll totally explain it away. We've always got the reason. There's always a reason why.
And it totally makes sense to us as well when we read your logs and we can see huge amount of solids going in because baby's been fussy on the breast or the bottle. We absolutely understand how, like, that makes sense to us too. Or you've had a history of feeding struggles which may have resolved, but you're still stuck in the habit of offering 2-hourly. We totally get it, and that's what we do. We'll guide you through just where you're up to and how you can make change from here on out, considering your baby's age and stage. So if you're wondering why you might read one of our plans, or maybe you're looking to piece it all together and reduce your overnight feeds and wakings and how to distribute calories throughout the day, we usually hold off on breakfast until it all starts to iron out, for all of the above reasons. Hopefully that made sense to everyone. As always, comments are always welcome on each episode, and we try our best to get through them and get back to you, but let us know if this has resonated and made sense. All right, everyone. Thanks, Beck.
All right, I'm going to go and choose my black outfit for our next meeting. So
excellent. Yep, I'll send you a black nap-trapped cap.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.